Hello, today we're going to do W and X hand shape. X. All right, okay. So the first one is water. Water. And we're going to do, now what happens with the water, we're going to have a flood. So the water is raised up. Flood. W also is for west. We did north, south, east, west. Wednesday. Every Wednesday. Same concepts we've been doing. Weird. Now we did strange, odd, weird, but a lot of people like to do the W and do this action. It's really fun. Weird. Oh, that's weird. So that's kind of fun. You don't have to. You could say weird, but it's just kind of a fun one. I really don't use that one, but I see it. And so, but it's just kind of a fun sign. Wine. We did beer like this. Well, wine goes in a circle. The sign for Washington, whether it's George Washington, Washington State, or Washington, D.C., it's a W in a circular fashion. So if I want to extinguish whether it's Washington State or Washington, D.C., I'll do Washington, D.C. And the rest of the time is Washington. Oh, it's far and it's cold or whatever. Or the President, Washington. So you're going to have that in context. You don't see, I mean, we don't have words, or just like when a child says, what does such and such mean? And you go, oh, we'll use it in a sentence. Because it can mean several things, but you want to know in what way that they're, reading it or it's going to be meant. Some people that's doing very English will do we, so W, we. I don't really use that. It's too hard. I'll do we, us, that kind of thing. Okay, so for river, we'll do our water again, and then we're going to describe our river. Is it, a lot of white waves? River, river, you describe it, what it looks like. Also, you can do the other waters as like for a pond or a lake. So you can do water, and you can show the size. Well, now, is it this big or is it this big? Sometimes I like to do the L hand shape and make that little coastline, so to speak, of the lake. But you can do water, we went on the lake, we went on the boat, and it was just so fun, that kind of thing. A waterfall, or was white water, right? So you get to describe that. So that's what's kind of fun about that. That's one reason I like sign language, is you get to describe it. So now we're going on to the X hand shape. X. So when you want to celebrate, woo, right? You want to celebrate, or if someone's anniversary, celebrate, and you just kind of just go in a windy, going up, celebrate. We're going to celebrate. Now we did we're going to give something to you. You hold it in your hand. But if it's a gift or a present, then you've got your X hand shapes and you give it. Gift. It's a present, or I'm going to give it to you. Sometimes people don't do this. They'll just do give. And that's fine, because the concept is the same. Must, should. I should do that. I have to. Right? So it's that whole concept of I should, have to. When you're doing the sign for, my mind is thinking I'm going to do it one-handed or two-handed. So like a fool or a sucker, a lot of people will do the X hand shape on their mouth, but that's used for something else. So hang on. I like to do the 2X hand shape, or, they got me. So you could do a fool or a sucker. I like gullible, but that's a different hand shape. Wise. So you got your X hand shape on your head, wise. And just move your wrist up and down, wise. You can say smart or wise. So, but you know how to use your language, but that's when you want to use it that way. Now think of a cobra snake, Egypt. Now that same shape is going to go on the nose for eagle because of their beak. Then the same thing on the nose for witch. Now I usually end up doing witch. But some people do it a little bit differently. But if it's not an eagle, maybe they're doing a witch. Also on the nose is doll. And kind of goes down, doll. I'm not sure why that is, but I always like to know the reasonings, but sometimes you don't get that. If you've had a traumatic experience, it's a mental scar. So you take your X hand shape, and it's like you're cutting right above your eyebrow. And it's usually very traumatic, not just something that's stressful or hard. We're talking about something very traumatic, and it's left a mental scar. So it's different from just stress, or that was a hard experience. This was really traumatic. It'll stay. It's got a scar on my mind, and it'll be there forever. Addiction, and so it's like it's a hook onto your mouth, and you draw it. It's an addiction, and it could be any addiction, and it's an addiction. Hooked on something. When it's on your teeth, you can have like teeth. Some people will do that for dentist. If you touch it, china or glass, so very expensive. So you touch it on your mouth and it's glass. Sometimes you don't have to touch it, but I think when you're practicing, it's always good to touch it. Recently, when did that happen? Oh, just recently. Like a minute ago, just recently. Or it can even be a week ago, right? Just something that's recently. Chewing gum. I think we already did this one. Envious. You could also do it like this because you're envious. A hearing aid on your ear. Hearing aid. Now, cochlear implant is more of a H hand shape. You can also do it in double X. It depends on the area or where you live and how the people are using that. But this is universal for hearing aid. If something is dry, I do dry land, or oh, that sandwich was dry. It could also be boring. Oh, that speech, dry, it's boring. But there's another sign for boring, but that's the one hand shape. If you're talking about like on a job application, when they ask you your sex, male or female, so it used to be like up here, and then it is down here, but it's still like male and female. So this is the sign for sex, if you're a male or female, or what sex that you're talking about. Apple. Onion. We did onion like this, but like crying, but this is onion that's used most of the time. Rubber, it goes up and down, like a rubber on your tire, whatever it's on, different kinds of that, because it just moves. Metal, remember we said sometimes people do metal. It's the same movement of your hand, but it's a different hand shape. So I use this for metal. Detective we did for D, and you could also do it for an X hand shape. I like D just because it's more clear than trying to figure out, is that a cop, is, a detective. If I want to ask a question, a query, I have remember we did curious, or I have a question with the F hand shape. Well, this is kind of the same thing. I have a question. I have a question. So I think that is it for the W and the X hand shape. So we're almost finished with that. And then we have 2 more hand shapes with letters. And then we're going to move on to the number hand shapes. So you should be able to make a sentence with all the hand shapes that you know and all the signs. So go back and look at them again and again so you can see, so you can communicate. You can go ahead and start to communicate. It's easier than you think, but don't say, oh, I got it, right? Because it can be misunderstood. We did that last time. Anyway, I will see y'all later. Bye.